Thanks, Trish. I'm having some difficulties with my video, but I'll just press on. Okay, so thanks for joining. I know it's early over there in the Caribbean as well as the US. So thanks for taking some time out to join us for 365 Saturday. As Trish said, I'm Marc Trotman, and we are. So thanks to our sponsors as well, Resco.net and my MSCRM add-ons and RSM. Okay, so a little bit of introduction to myself.
Mark, I'm not seeing your screen if you're sharing.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm seeing Teams instead. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, so let me just, so a little bit of introduction to myself. I've worked in Dynamics 365, Stroke Power Platform for the past 7 years. I like, my hobbies are running, foodie. I like to travel, but of course that's non-existent now. During lockdown, I've started to collect started collecting vinyl records, and I'm also trying to play the guitar. You can contact me in a few different ways. I tweet off and on Twitter, and there's my LinkedIn profile and my website, powerplatformpointers.com. Okay, so for my Power Platform crash course, what I'm going to do is just kind of follow this agenda. It's going to kind of start with a scenario, ask the question if the Power Platform can help, dive into what is the Power Platform, and then at the end just go through a bit of some building to show you how easy the Power Platform low code no code is. Okay, so obviously this is a scenario that a lot of people in the Caribbean and people in small island states know about. So at the beginning of 2020, obviously there's a lot of it's a very cash-based society. I mean, when I got married in 2012, everything had to be paid by cash. Digital services are available, but they're not used a lot. And there are a lot of manual filling out of forms in government and the private sectors. So if you want to renew your driver's license, if you want to apply for a passport, everything is normally you go into the office, you fill out a form, etc. And that process just repeats year in and year out. And there are a lot of transactions that are done basically over counter with the exchange of cash. If you want to pay, and that's done, in the banks, in stores, etc. But what actually happened in March 2020? The COVID crisis came into effect. And what that meant is that you had to stay at home and everything's went to virtual. People were working from home. They were, they had to start thinking about how they were going to actually buy groceries, etc. So people now had to learn how to be able to buy goods online. They had to be able to pay bills online, renew services online, and then government and businesses obviously needed to send out information about COVID protocols, what to do now that you can't come into an actual physical location to actually pay your bills, etc. And then remote working and online education started to come to the fore a lot more. So therefore, what had to happen? The governments and private sectors had to think about, they had to start thinking about online forms. They had to increase their digital services. And instead of being able to pay by cash, you had to have more digital currency offerings. So you go into the supermarket in order to reduce the amount of waiting times, etc. The possibility of paying by cards more often and paying quicker. And then obviously an increase in transactions carried out online and via other digital platforms. Okay, so the big question is, there are a lot of transformation going on. Can the Power Platform help? And so what exactly is the Power Platform? Okay, This is kind of a very up-to-date screen, and it's taken from the Microsoft website. It's basically a low-code platform that spans Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and standalone applications. And they provide us with four main components. Power BI, which is basically the ability to create reports at an enterprise level. And the three main other components, which I'm going to concentrate on, Power Apps, the ability to develop low-code applications quickly. Power Automate, which gives you the ability to automate processes. And Power Virtual Agents, which are actually chatbots. So let's dig a bit more deeper into each one of these. So basically, as I said, Power Virtual Agents are mainly chatbots. And what it does is that it provides a way for people to ask questions and receive correct answers quickly and in real time. So obviously, when you go to websites, some of the websites that are out there is a lot of static information. And basically, you have to dig down into the actual information to get to the points that you want to find out the information that you want to get. But with the ability to add a chatbot, and you would see how, and I'm going to demonstrate how quick and easy that is. This can be actually implemented onto a website, and basically a person who wants to find out information can find out that information without, at any time of the day, and actually get the information quickly and efficiently. So as you can see, this is a screenshot of kind of what it looks like. The next one is Power Apps. And there are two types of Power Apps that you will encounter. One is a Canvas Power Apps, and it's, as the name suggests, you have a blank canvas and you're able to create that look and feel, that functionality, and design it in according to certain requirements and according to your look and feel, and be able to theme it accordingly. The example shown is Metrobank. This is one of the companies I worked for recently, and this is kind of an overview of the Canvas app that they built, which was to kind of determine how long a person coming into a bank would have to wait before they're actually seen by a representative. Okay, and then there's the ability to have a model-driven app. Model-driven app is a bit more rigid, but still as powerful and quite easy to develop as well. What it does, it is able to generate an app based on your business data and processes, and it gives you, and it models forms, views, and other components, and this UI automatically adjusts to the kind of device that you're looking at. So whether it be a laptop, whether it be a phone, etc., the screen adjusts accordingly. And on the right-hand side, this is kind of one of kind of the demo that I'm going to show. So this is kind of one of a model-driven app, which is based on kind of an immigration form. So as you can see, the theme through my presentation is how we can actually transform countries, island states, whatever, institutions, and actually be able to build applications quickly with low code and provide value in quick time. The next one is Power Automate. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, this is an automation tool that allows you to automate processes. So basically, an example will be like if you register on a form. So basically, going back to that immigration form example, you fill in that information. If your country of residence is the country that you're actually in, you're kind of classified as a citizen. So what this could actually do is that if that person was coming in and they say that the country of residence was that particular country, it could automatically create a contact in a government database, which would say, okay, this person is classified as a citizen, and if that person, the country of residence, wasn't from that particular company, it could be will be constituted as a visitor. And basically you have a central repository which can then be used by various departments various departments within the country to actually, interact with people. So if somebody, basically a visitor, kind of wanted to have a license, the person in the licensing authority could actually already have that. The person can come into that particular department, do a search for that particular person based on, like, for example, their passport number. That information could immediately be pre-populated, so you're not having to fill out a form again, and basically empowering the employees in that particular situation. The great thing about Power Automate is that it can connect to over 300 data sources, and that makes it very versatile in organizations which have many disparate systems, and it allows them to be able to kind of connect and communicate and transfer information between those systems. Last but not least is Power Apps Portal, and this is a portal, is a way that allows users to actually build low-code websites, and then this website can be shared with people outside of their organization and allowing them to sign in with various authentication methods such as LinkedIn and Microsoft, using a Microsoft account. As you can see, this could be kind of looked as an island portal. There are a lot of government websites that are already out there that have this functionality. So it's kind of like putting a front-end screen which actually interacts with the back-end database, and actually giving them a very quick and easy way to create different websites. So you can have one for the government website, you can have one for the immigration department, the police department, and these are very quick and easily to roll up by using the Power Apps portal. Okay, so I think we're kind of going quite good for time. And so let's have a kind of a deep dive into Power Virtual Agents, Power Apps, both Model and Canvas, Power Automate, and I'll see what if I'll actually drive into Power Apps Portal. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this presentation now, and I'll just move into the actual application where we can build these apps. Any questions at the moment? Okay.
No questions yet.
Okay, so I'll take that. So thanks, Trish. Okay, so the first scenario actually that we're going to look at is Power Virtual Agents. So as we were talking about, with the advent of COVID, a lot of countries internationally have had to start to implement what they call as travel corridors. They're classifying countries as high risk, low risk, medium risk, and then they have a lot of guidelines of what can happen before you actually come into a particular country. Okay, so I have an example Power Platform pointers bot here, and what we're going to do is kind of I'm just going to open it up and show you how easy it is to actually kind of build out a chatbot. The great thing about this as well is that once you build that chatbot, you test it, you can actually publish it, and when you publish it, you're able to, it actually generates a code, and then a whole bit of code that you can actually embed into your website. Okay, so this is kind of the interface or UI for the Power Virtual Agents. And as you can see here, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually go to the topics. Out of the box, you have various topics that come, and I'm just going to turn off some of them here. Oops. Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay, and I've started to build out one here. So let's open it. And basically, this is kind of what tells, this is a kind of, the trigger phrase is what tells the bot what to, you know, it kind of tells about what it actually has to look, the information it has to look at. So what I have here at the moment is I have a trigger phrase of high, low, medium risk. And what I'm going to do here is go into here, and so basically someone will type in high risk or low risk. And what I'm going to say is, you know, what can I help you with? Okay. Following on from that, I'm going to ask a question. And this is going to be, are you from any of these countries? Okay. So what I've done beforehand, I'm hoping it's here, or I may have to build it again. No, I think I probably have to build it again. That's fine. Is I'm going to create, I'm going to create, okay, let me save this first. Sorry. Okay, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is go to the entities, right? I'm using a new laptop here as well. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom entity, and I'm going to call this high risk. I'm going to call, I think Argentina, perhaps. Let's put in the UK there. So, okay, add. And I'm going to save that. So what I'm doing is kind of building up an entity that are the high risk countries, and then I'm going to just create another one called medium risk. Put Bermuda here. Put Spain, for example. Okay. So now what I can actually do within my topic is to actually use those particular options. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the topic. I'm going to go to the authoring canvas. And right here, now I can actually, hopefully, I should be able to see high risk. And then I can actually say, okay, I want to allow people to select those two options. And then what I'm going to do here is add a condition. So if the person, which is the variable here, is Argentina, what I'm going to do here is actually show a message saying you are from a high-risk country. And again, what I'm going to do as well is add another condition and say if you're from or United Kingdom, again, obviously it's going to be the same. Therefore, what that means is that all the other, so obviously you could have a kind of a large list of those countries, so you can actually build that out. But my default condition is that person is not from any of these other countries. And what I'm going to ask again is, are you from these countries, for example? And what then I can do is then I can link that to the medium risk. So you see where I'm going with this. It's only one. I didn't save that one. And then basically, again, if somebody asks that question, what you can say is that you are from a medium risk country. The great thing about this is that you can actually test that bot and just make sure and see what's happening. And okay, that's taken me literally about 5 minutes. And I've kind of got a kind of semi-working bot which you can actually embed onto a website to say, okay, if somebody is from a certain country, they'll know, okay, you are from higher risk country to that person that you're at, to that country you're actually going into. So let's try it out. So we got here. So here on the left-hand side is where you can test your bot. So let's say hello. This is a custom built-in stuff that you can see. So I said, hi, I'm a virtual agent. I can also change what it says, but this is kind of comes out of the box. What can I help you with today? So I say high risk. Then what it does, it actually shows you the flow that's happening. So it says, are you from any of these countries? Argentina. And then it says, okay, you're from a high risk country. Whatever. So as you can see, that is kind of working already. One thing I'll do here is just update the high risk entity to add in none, because the default condition wasn't triggered. So, okay, just a little. Okay, save that. And the great thing about it is once I save that and I go back into the authoring canvas, so I go back into topics, I go back here, go into the authoring canvas. And what I'm going to do here now is should be able to add another option that's automatically available for me. Okay, take that. And now if I run the bot again, what you should see now is actually, okay, should have come up, but okay. So it should be another option that says none there, but you kind of see what I mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in to show you another one that I built out. So that's kind of showing you how quick and easy it is to build one. And I'll just show you one that is kind of a bit more richer with some functionality. Okay, so go to the topics here. So what I've done is I've got one which is entrance requirements. Again, it's very similar to the one that I built out there for you. So I'll just open that up just to give you a bit of information to see. So as you can see, I've got high risk countries again, Argentina, Bahamas, Belize, and then none. If it's equal to various of these, I'm classifying these as a high risk country. And then what I have is another topic, which is about pre-arrival requirements. Okay, so let's just run through this and see what happens. So, hi. Okay, high risk, for example. So, as you can see, are you traveling from any of these countries? Again, I'll go Argentina. So you are classified as a high risk country, and as I said, it's going into another topic that I've classified. Have you taken a PCR test before you've come to the country? Yes. When did you take? So now it's building out based on the requirements of that country. It's saying, okay, have you taken it within 3 days of your arrival? Yes. Was it a negative test? Yes. Have you filled out a pre-arrival form? Because some countries are now asking for pre-arrival forms. Okay. If you haven't done that, it will actually tell you, okay, please ensure that you fill out the pre-arrival form, and it gives you a link that goes actually to the particular form. Using Barbados as an example because I'm from Barbados, and this is kind of the process that they're actually using. Okay, so that's Power Virtual Agents in a nutshell. You can see how easy it was to build, and it's kind of very, very intuitive. Another great thing about it is actually what you can do as well is you have this option of suggest topics. And then what you can do is you can actually point at an actual website. So, for example, again, using Barbados as an example, they have a a page here that actually goes through everything about their COVID requirements, etc. And the great thing about it is that they have FAQs as well. What you can do with the Power Virtual Agents, you can actually point it directly at that particular page, click on Add, and click on Start. And then what that will do is actually start to generate topics based from that website. And then basically you already kind of half of your work is done. You can actually then just kind of mold those particular topics into be used within the bot. So I'm just going to let that go and probably come back to that afterwards. So as you can see, so a very quick way, no code, low code, you can actually add functionality and more complex functionality by using the bot framework. But again, it's a very quick way of people building out chatbots, adding value to websites, to services, to even within a school. You could actually have, create a bot to actually teach people, teach kids how to, learn, maths, English, etc. So as you can see, I've got it's picked up 57 new topics, and basically let's just go into one of them. And it just says, okay, it's picked up, it says, how do I access the online immigration custom form? And it's actually generated the message. And let's go into another one. Do I need to complete a separate online form for my spouse who is a minor? And again, it's actually picked up everything that's on that website, and you can actually just compile that into a whole working bot. So you can see it's quite powerful, very, very powerful. Low code, no code, and very, very quick to implement. Okay. So let's move on to Power Apps. And as I said before, there are two types of Power Apps we call. One is a model-driven app, and one is a canvas app. Canvas means that you have a blank canvas. You can design how you look, whereas model-driven is kind of what you see in front of your screen here. Okay, so what I've done is that I think one of the other sessions is about accelerators, and what Microsoft have done is that for various industries, they have different accelerators that they've built, one for education, one for banking, one for healthcare, etc. Me, what I've done is I've created my own accelerator. I call it the Power Platforms Pointers Accelerator because that's the name of my website. And what this does is this is kind of like I could give this to someone. I mean, I've only been working on it for probably about a week or so, but this could be actually given to a country or any an institution who has this kind of framework, and they can actually install this onto their system and then have a working, a kind of a start to actually build out a further system. So for example, I've got admin, which has reference data. So basically you can set up all your airlines, your countries, your airports, your accommodation types. So basically this was kind of generated based on the immigration form that you have to fill out when you're going to Barbados now. So basically you come in, you have to fill out a application form, and that application form asks for all of this type of information. So here you have all the reference data that you need. So these are just various entities that are fairly common for places in the Caribbean, even Jamaica, Trinidad, and other countries as well. You need to have a list of your airlines that the person is coming from, your countries, what airports are related to the country. So as you can see, you have Afghanistan, you have that airport, etc. What type of accommodations you have, you're linked to, gender, male, female, other, purpose of visit, etc., etc. So again, it's a model-driven app because this is all based on your business requirements or business logic. And then you have various different sections within the app as well. So sometimes you need to have a certificate of character. If somebody needs to validate that you're that person, you can create that. And this could be released to the police, for example. And then as I said, is the immigration form, etc. So what I'll do is I'm just going to show you how the immigration form worked and how it was put together. I won't be able to get it. Okay, so this is a solution, and within a solution is where you have the various components that make up the app. So when you actually create a model-driven app, you can actually point it, and I'll go through this. I'll just show you very quick of how it can be done. So you've got your entities. So you treat your entities as your tables, and within your tables you have various fields, and those fields relate to the various information you want to capture about an individual, a person, etc., etc. Then you have your model-driven app, which I'm going to show you how to generate that. You've got your kind of option set. An option set is a combo box where you have different options. You've got things like business process flow, business processes, business rules, which allow you to hide and show fields. And then you've got the web resources, and most of these web resources are just image files. And these image files are actually what you see, what comes up for the various entities on your left-hand side here. So this is the web resource. These are the web resources, etc. Okay, so suppose I wanted to create a new model-driven app based on that information. It's kind of, I'm just gonna, what you can do is once you have all that, all your solution that you've created with your entities, etc., you can you follow. It's kind of, it's a wizard driven. So let's call it a test model app. And what the great thing is about it is then you can actually select use existing solution to create the app, and then you pick the solution that you have created to create the app. So let's use the island solution for the time being. This is a different one. And let's click on done. Okay, see, and what that does is it generates you the framework of an app based on what's within the solution that you have. So let me just go into that particular solution just to show you what's in there. It only had in the kind of the person, and you've got the immigration entity, and it has a Canvas app, and it has in a flow, etc. So we've actually created an app already. What you need to do then is you need to actually design what the navigation is going to look like. Okay, so I'm just going to do this very quickly. So just say home. I'm going to also call this home. Oops. I'm going to call this person. What you can do on the right hand side is you can actually then select what you want to show on that for that particular link. And what I want to do is show the person entity because that's what I want to show. And let's just save that. So once I save and close, you can see the sitemap has been created. I save that. To actually generate it, you do a publish. And then I can just click on play. And that is basically within 3 or 4 clicks, I have a model-driven app already created. I have an entity on the left-hand side. You can filter with certain views that are already been configured. So this is one that shows all the citizens in the island, any visitors that have come through, etc. And you can see that this is different from this model-driven app, okay? Because the flexibility of model-driven and is that you can actually create separate apps for different people to show them different information. So this is probably something that just the immigration person could use, or another person could, etc. And that is created just by doing 2 or 4 clicks. So as you can see, the power of the model-driven app. What I'm going to do here is just kind of combine model-driven and flow, just to give you an idea of how that works. So I'm going to fill out the immigration form. So again, you have the various information. You have the required fields that you can set up as well. See, I want the so country of embarkation. Let's pick the UK. All right, so let's pick Jamaica. And then the great thing about it is you can actually filter based on Jamaica. Only airports within Jamaica will come up. When you intend to travel, let's say November, and basically you carry on and fill in the rest of the fields. Test, contact. Let's go down. Make myself a bit younger. Country of birth, Barbados. Country of residence, let's say Jamaica. UK as nationality, fill in that. Passport, yeah, I could have made this a little bit easier for myself. Jamaica destination information, holiday, what accommodation you're looking for again. So this is again another filter, kind of a filter lookup where you can actually say, okay, for all the hotels, just bring up, for the type of vacation of hotel, just bring out what you want to see. So Sandy Lane, and then you've got your parish, telephone number, email address, test. Okay, so before I do that, let's just go into flow and I'll show you what this flow will do. So again, as we were saying before, a flow is a way of automating processes. And this flow I've created is a very basic flow, and all it does is kind of what I talked about before. So let's edit it. So it's basically saying that when a record is created or updated or deleted, and in this case, the trigger for this for when this flow will run is when the record was created. Okay, and then what I'm doing is that I'm saying if the country is not equal to Barbados, because I'm saying that this was a Barbados kind of specific app, what you do is you create a record in that person table and you tag that relationship type as visitor. Whereas on the other condition, you create a record for citizen. Okay, so it's very basic. What I could do as well is that I could, let's add another step. And this is where I'm saying that about all of the connectors that are available. So you've got the common data services, which one we use. You've got Teams. You've got Salesforce, for example. Don't talk about them on Microsoft demos. But what I'm going to do here is email. So I may want to just send an email. And I'm just going to put in my email here. Thanks for your email test. Actually, what it'll do is here is, so what's good about it is that because I have kind of I'm creating that particular record, I can actually pick up information from that record. So I can actually say, look for the email address of that particular record and then link it that way. So let's save that. Yes. Okay, so what we will do now, so basically this is triggered when the record is saved. Okay, so let's create the record, or when the record is created. So let's save and close. Okay, and if all goes well, I can go back out of this and I can actually see if it's run. And it tells me, yes, it succeeded. I can actually go into the flow, and I can actually see what's happened. So it says the record's been created. Yes. It was this condition if it was if the country was Barbados. It wasn't Barbados. So it goes into the visitor option, and then it actually sends an email to that particular email address that was related to the immigration form. So now if I go into here and I refresh, I should see a record here with the visitor. So you can see how powerful that is. And again, very low code, no code, very quick to develop, and you actually have something working very, very quickly. This is not to say that you can't do more complex stuff, but it's just to show you the power of the Power Platform and how it can actually make your life easier. It can actually make you build applications quickly and fairly, and things that work. Let me put it that way. Okay, so I think that's it. I think I've got about 10 minutes. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to show you an example of.
Just to let you know, Mark, you do have some questions as well if you wanted to take questions.
Okay, yes, I'm just going to show the Canvas app, just an example of a Canvas app, and then I'll take questions. So it shouldn't take too long. So another 2 minutes, Trish, and then I'll answer some questions. Okay, so let's go back here into this one. Actually, I can just go from here. So let's have a look at Canvas app. Now I'm just going to play this one. I'm not going to just give you an example of what it looks like and how it works. Okay, so this is not too pretty. I kind of just built this morning, but you've got a blank canvas. Again, as I said, you can do whatever you want here. You click on enter, goes into another form, and as you can see, this is laid out in a different way as compared to this in terms of displaying a list of information. Basically, clicking on the arrow will carry you into another screen. So again, it's kind of different from the navigation here. So if I click here, it's kind of similar, but strings, it's just a different way of navigating. And then one more is then I can actually update the information here. And this is my save button, really. And then that carries me back to the page, and you can see it's already updated here. So very quick and easy application, just using very drag and drop facilities. And so if I want to cancel, that just carries me back to this screen. Let me just come out of that, and then I just quickly show. I'll just show you how it looks like to build. I'm not going to have time to obviously do the portals, but you had an example from my screenshot. It's just that was mainly around the web, creating websites. Okay, I'll take some questions now, Trish. Sure.
Okay, so the first question is, how does the licensing work for the Power Virtual Agent bot? Does it come along with the D365 Customer Engagement Plan license?
I think, not really. I think, yeah, it does. One of the things I really wanted to show, I don't think I'm going to have time, was that actually, if you actually also have Teams, with the new release of just recently announced in the Microsoft Business Application Summit, Power Virtual Agents now comes with Teams. But yes, it does come with the customer engagement license. That's right, I believe. I don't know if there's any MVBs on the call that could tell me if that's true or not. Oh, okay. What's the next question, Trish?
So the next question is, Can the Power Virtual agents consume data from CDS? Let's say you're storing the high, medium risk on countries there and using it for other purposes in D365.
And that's a good one. I think you can. I think you might be able to just create a flow to pull that information into the app. But that's I think that's possible. I can check that out and provide that information. That's not a problem. I'll look into that.
Okay, great. And there was another one. Oh, why is it? Sorry, my thing is frozen. Not recordings. Can we create a Power App just for the use via cell phone, mobile, and not be available for use through the web?
Can we create an app for cell phone, mobile, and not for use through the web
interface? Yeah.
Well, you can do it. Canvas, you can do that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Okay.
With a Canvas app, you can.
Yeah.
You can basically lock that down. So
yeah.
That's the thing there.
For the model-driven app, you have the ability to. I mean, you've got to design it. You can design it within the web, and then I guess just use it because you have the ability to make mobile forms. Mobile make. Okay, that's a good question. I'll have to take that away.
You can make specific entities mobile.
Mobile enabled, exactly.
Yeah. Can you use Power Automate and virtual agents to create records and customer engagement based on a user's response?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay, and I think there's one last question. In Power Virtual Agents, are the entities created resided in the same area as the entities within CDS, or is it specifically entities within Power Virtual Agents?
Yeah, that's entities specific within virtual agents. So, for example, I was able to export. So it's within virtual agents itself.
Okay. And one last question, can I copy components from another model-driven app to use in a newly created model-driven app?
Yeah, so this is kind of what I did. I'm just going to finish off my slides. So basically, I started off, there's a plan called a community plan, which is a plan that Microsoft provides, which allows you to have a development environment for you to play around with Power Platform, and it's kind of endless or infinite. You don't have there's no restriction. I started building the accelerator there, and basically what I've been demoing today is actually a trial for Dynamics 365, and I actually exported that solution and imported it in here. So yes, that's the whole flexibility of the Power Platform Dynamics 365 solution management. So that is possible.
You've got more questions coming in. Can you then call Power Automate from the Power Virtual Agents? Maybe you mentioned it and I just didn't hear.
Yes, you can. Yes, that's right.
You can. Okay. And then can the model-driven app be ran or deployed outside of Dynamics 365? In your demo, you have the model-driven app running in D365 environment.
Can it be? Say that again, sorry.
So can you have a model-driven app that's actually outside the context of Dynamics 365? Because in your demo, you've got the model-driven app running in D365.
Yes, so that's the whole thing about CDS. So with CDS, kind of provides you with a common data platform with a common data model, and that is something that you can just build within Power Apps itself. You go to powerapps.com. And you can actually create a CDS instance, and CDS is what is different from actually going full-blown Dynamics 365. And also now within Teams, that's a great thing about it. You can actually create your Power Apps within Teams, and you don't have to have anything to do with any knowledge of Dynamics 365, but it does have the flexibility of actually upskilling you. You can actually upgrade from that Teams based model-driven app into a full-blown Dynamics 365.
Okay, and once a user starts a conversation with the bot, is it possible to add a condition to wait X amount of time before the bot asks if the user wants to continue this chat?
I think so. I've not tried that, but I think you can. Yes.
Okay. I think those are the questions.
Okay. So let me just finish up here. I think I was. Let's see. Sorry. Let's see if I can get this up again. Okay. So I just want to give some ideas about how you can get started for a Power Platform. As I said, you can go to Power Apps. People that are using Office 365 already, that should be available. If you don't use Office 365, you've got the community plan, which I've started to spin up because I was creating trials and then those were down, and it gives me an environment that I can play around with, and it's infinite. You can always have a Dynamics 365 trial. And then Microsoft Teams, I had the demo, kind of was going to show a bit of a screenshot of how that works, but I had to switch laptops at the last minute. So question and answers have already been had. And just want to remind you guys of prizes. They're three $50 Amazon gift cards. I think two go to the people with the most social media posts and who use the hashtag D365 Wave 2 Saturday. And then the third will be raffled off. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered. So yeah, so that's my presentation. I hope you found it interesting. And as I said, I think, and the question was, can the Power Platform help? I think it can. I know there are lots of things that are going on in the Caribbean and all over the world, with people trying to handle how they get handle COVID and etc. But with the Power Platform, you got to, as I said, it's kind of the mantra: low code, no code. And you can also, it's not only for, as they called, citizens developers. You have the ability to extend using zero functions. So actually hardcore developers can actually also build and extend the Power Platform. So I hope you found the Power Platform crash course interesting, enjoyable, and it kind of brought food for thought for people on the call. Unfortunately, you can't see me, but thanks for joining my session, and thanks Trish for giving me the chance to present.
Thank you so much, Mark. I found that really, really insightful. And they have lots and lots of thank yous in the chat window. I think everyone really enjoyed the session, learned quite a lot. Everyone, don't forget to submit your survey at that short URL. Thank you, Alan, for posting that in the chat. So if you scroll up a little bit more, Alan Castro has actually put that in the chat window for you. So you can actually click on it, complete the survey. Don't forget to tweet, post the information about the session. You can win prizes for each feedback that you submit. You actually then add it to a draw to win some really grand $50 Amazon gift card. So that's great. Mark, absolutely brilliant session. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
The next session coming right up is Anti-Pageant. I can never pronounce your name, Anti-Pageant, with an introduction to D365 project operations. Sorry. I will now be setting Anti up. So, seconds. Anti, I'm going to make you presenter. By the way, if you were planning to go to the customer service insights, we don't have that session anymore. So you'll need to choose either this session or the other option, which is D365 Finance Features and Release Wave 2 in the D365 Best Practices track. Okay, so just one second. And I'm trying to find you. Yes, so the 10 a.m. service track is canceled. Please go to one of the other sessions, which is this session or the best practice session. Oh. Auntie, I can't find you, you know. Where is Auntie? Has he not come in yet? Okay, good, because I was literally cracking my brain trying to figure out where on earth is Auntie in this list, and I couldn't see him. But I was so sure I saw like a ping from him. Very confused. One sec.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Where
Guess
you been?
Guess who was on the wrong track? Guess who was on the wrong track? I was like, Julia was on. I was like, yeah, she's going to do some slides and whatnot. I was like, huh? Are you doing dynamics? I was like, yeah, it seems I'm on Power Platform. All right, good times, but I made it, right?
Better late than never, Auntie.
There you are. I was wondering if you were gonna come, or I was like gonna have to, like, you know, tap dance or something.
Yeah, I was on the dynamics track. Thought I was going to be on that, but
Seconds.
Go away again. We want to see Trisha tap dancing.
I have not tap danced in a long while.
Well, there's that's fine. Is turn on the camera and let's see it tap dance.